Let us start by creating an object so that we can have a better understanding of the C-plane. Let us create a 3D box. So under the toolbar, we have the box tool. We can simply click on it. Once you click on it, the command box will give you the prompt. It is asking you from where do you want to start the base from. So we say that we want to start the base from the center. For that reason, I click on the center. I want the box to start from the origin, which is 0. Hence, the center of the base, I will type 0 and enter. Now if you see, the box starts from the center because I have selected center option. Simultaneously, I would like you to see the perspective view so that we get a better understanding of the C-plane. Simultaneously, I would like you to look at the perspective view also to get a better understanding of the C-plane as well on the front view. So with respect to the front view, right now you are seeing a straight line since we are drawing it in the top view. Once we decided the base, I simply click. So now the base is created. Now we need to give the height. So we drag the mouse vertically to give the height and we click. Now we have created a 3D box. Let us further explore the viewports. As we have already explained, we have the top viewport, we have the front viewport, the right viewport and the perspective viewport. These viewports can be modified also. Now, depending on which viewport is selected, the drawing would be created in that specific viewport. For example, at the moment the top viewport has been selected. If you want to work in the front viewport, you have to make sure to click on the front view and the color of the viewport name needs to change into light blue. The same way you have the right viewport. I come back to the top viewport. So then again the top view is selected. If I am working in the perspective viewport, the perspective view is selected. Now we have a drop down just next to the viewport name. Once you click the drop down, you have multiple modes over here. By default, it is the wireframe mode. Now click on the shaded. If you see, once you click on the shaded, you can use the mouse right click to rotate the object. This is the shaded view. The same way, I click, I go into rendered. So this is the final rendering of it. You have the ghosted. The ghosted is where you can see where it becomes transparent. You have X-ray, which is very similar to your ghosted. You have technical, where basically you get lines to show you. You have artistic, which makes you the artistic view of this particular box. And then you have pen. Right now pen has not been enabled. So I go back into shaded. I keep my perspective view to shaded, whereas the top and the front view, we can also modify them, but we generally keep them to wireframe. Now you select a particular viewport and simply zoom out to get a better understanding of this particular viewport. Now you can see that the box which has been made, it's against this particular viewport, whereas in the top view, you only have the Y and the X axis. Whereas in the front, you have the Z and the X axis, and the C-plane simply acts as a wall against which your drawing is visible. The same way, if you look at the perspective, your C-plane is over here and your drawing sits over it, and that's your right view. The purpose of basically zooming out is to give you a better understanding of the C-plane. The C-plane is nothing but your construction plane against which you can see your drawing. Let us again make a box. By default, the perspective view is activated. So I want to draw in the top view, hence I select the top. I select the box. I again want the box to start from the center. So I simply write C, enter. Center of the base is again 0, enter. I create the base. I define the height. If I drag vertically up, the height is up. If I drag it vertically down, depending on how vertically you drag the mouse, either you create the box upwards or you create the box downwards. So I want to create the box upwards and I click. So now the box is created. Now next I want to explain you about layers. So under perspective view, I will go back into shaded so that I can see the shade color over here. Now I will create a sphere. So under the box you have this icon, keep it pressed. I simply come to sphere. I click on sphere. Now I do not want it to start from 0. So let's say I can move my mouse over here on the right hand side. I click and I create the sphere. Okay. Now on the right hand side you will see the layers palette. If I simply increase the size, you can see properties, you can see layers, display and help. Simply I go into layers. Now by default, we only have the default layer. So whatever we are drawing will basically be drawn on the default layer. It is a good habit to create different objects on different layers. So let's say we create a layer. To create a layer, you have the first option which says new layer. So I click on that. So layer 1. If you want to rename it, you could simply rename it. Now right now I do not want to rename it, so I simply press the enter button. So first I will select it. Then I will go over the layer, I will right click it, and I have an option over here which says change object layer, which means this particular object will be going into this specific layer. So I click on change object layer. Now I can simply come to the color, and let's say I simply give it a different color and I click OK. Now if you see, your rectangle is in a different color and the sphere is in a different color. Now since they are on two different layers, you can also control the visibility. If I simply select, this is the view icon, so if I click on it, it is hidden. If I click on it again, it's again visible. Let us try it again. This time I will create a cylinder. Now if you see, by default the cylinder is drawn on the default layer. I will create a new layer. I will select the cylinder. I will go to layer 2, right click over it, and I will say I have two options over here: change object layer or copy objects to layer. If I say change object layer, the cylinder will move from the default layer and will be go and placed on layer 2. If I say copy objects to layer, that means that particular object will be in the default layer as well in the layer 2. Right now I would like to change the object layer, so I simply go and say change object layer. I come up over here, and this time I again change the color. I go OK. We have three objects and all of them are in three different layers. The rectangle is in the default layer, the sphere is in layer 1, and the cylinder is in layer 2. You can create multiple objects in the same layer also. It is not necessary to create only one object in one layer. However, it is recommended to have similar objects in similar layers. For example, in jewelry, when we are working, we will have all the diamonds in one layer. We will have all the prongs in one layer, which will basically make it easy for us for selection.